Welcome to Part 3 of Emergency Management. During this section, we will discuss risk assessments and facility vulnerabilities. Types of natural disasters affecting jails. In Missouri, jails are susceptible to numerous disaster types: floods, tornadoes, earthquakes, fires, ice storms, blizzards, pandemics. Jail-specific vulnerabilities during natural disasters and emergencies. While all public institutions face challenges during natural disasters, jails are uniquely vulnerable due to their secure environment. Population type and operational constraints. These vulnerabilities must be acknowledged and addressed during emergency planning to prevent disaster from compounding into catastrophe. The following are critical vulnerabilities specific to jails. Locked housing units and evacuation constraints. Overview. Unlike schools, hospitals, or government buildings, jails are designed to keep people in, not get them out. This poses major risks when evacuation is necessary due to fire, flooding, structural collapse, or other threats. Challenges. Time-consuming evacuations. Staff must manually unlock cells, often using keys or electronic systems that may fail during power outages. Staffing limitations. Evacuating a large number of inmates safely with limited personnel is logistically complex. Security versus speed. Maintaining secure custody during a rushed evacuation may conflict with life-saving urgency. Elevator or stairway reliance. Multi-floor facilities can become choke points during evacuation. Mitigation strategies. Regular evacuation drills by housing unit. Priority evacuation protocols for high-risk areas. Backup mechanical overrides for doors if electronic systems fail. Limited medical resources overview. Most jails are not equipped to handle mass casualties or outbreaks of disease. Medical staff, space, and supplies are often minimal and geared toward routine, not crisis level. Care. Challenges. Minimal on-site equipment. Jails may not have defibrillators, oxygen tanks, trauma kits, or ventilators readily available. Inadequate isolation capacity. During disease outbreaks, COVID-19, jails often lack negative pressure rooms or separate medical wards. Delayed external support. EMS or hospital support may be delayed during regional disasters. Mitigation strategies. Stockpiling basic emergency medical supplies. Identifying nearby hospitals and establishing transfer agreements. Cross-training officers in basic first aid and triage. Inmate population size and classification. Overview. The number and type of inmates housed in a facility affects the complexity of emergency response. Jails often house a mix of low, medium, and high-risk individuals, which presents a major challenge during evacuations or lockdowns. Challenges. High-risk inmates. Those with violent histories or escape risks require greater supervision and restraint during movement. Mental health and medical needs. Inmates with psychiatric or chronic health conditions may deteriorate rapidly under stress. Overcrowding. Many jails operate above capacity, making movement and sheltering even more difficult. Mitigation strategies. Pre-designated evacuation groupings based on classification. Updated rosters and wristband or color-coded systems for quick identification. Advanced coordination with nearby facilities to temporarily house evacuated inmates. Jail infrastructure, including utilities, communications, and electronic systems, is crucial for safety and control. However, these systems are vulnerable to power loss, flooding, and physical damage during natural disasters. Challenges. Power dependency. Most doors, cameras, intercoms, and locks rely on electricity. A power failure can immobilize operations. Aging infrastructure. Many jails are housed in older buildings with outdated plumbing. Wiring or HVAC systems. Limited backup systems. Not all jails have robust generator capacity, backup water supplies, or redundant server networks. Security breaches. Natural disasters may create vulnerabilities that inmates exploit: damaged fencing, downed surveillance, or reduced staff coverage. Mitigation strategies. Regular testing of backup generators and batteries. Securing infrastructure upgrades through budget planning and grants. Redundant communication systems, e.g. radios, satellite phones. Securing areas exposed by structural damage immediately with extra supervision or reinforcement. Jail-specific vulnerabilities are not theoretical. They have contributed to real-world tragedies and high-profile failures during past disasters. These vulnerabilities demand specialized planning, training, and infrastructure investment. Effective emergency preparedness begins with acknowledging these risks and tailoring response plans to the realities of correctional environments, where the margin for error is dangerously small. Let's move on to the next topic. Emergency Operations Plan, EOP, Emergency Action Plan, EAP. An Emergency Operations Plan, EOP, or Emergency Action Plan, EAP, is the foundation of a jail's readiness for natural disasters and other emergencies. It is a structured, facility-specific document that outlines how staff will respond, coordinate, and recover from incidents while ensuring security, safety, and continuity of operations. The primary purpose of a jail EOP is to prepare staff to manage emergencies in a way that protects life, maintains lawful custody, preserves facility operations, and ensures legal compliance. It provides a structured response framework for various emergencies, for example, fire, flood, tornado, pandemic, utility failure. A clear chain of command and role assignments to avoid confusion. Detailed procedures for evacuation. Lockdown, resource deployment, and post-incident recovery. Coordination strategies with outside agencies and emergency services. Compliance with standards from the American Correctional Association, ACA. FEMA, state law, and other regulatory bodies. The EOP-EEAP is a living document and must be updated regularly, trained on, and tested through drills. Chain of Command, ICS structure uses the Incident Command System, ICS, a standardized, scalable approach to command and control. Clearly defines leadership roles, incident commander, safety officer, public information officer, etc. Enables rapid role transitions if key personnel are unavailable. Facilitates communication between jail command staff and external agencies, for example, EMA, Fire Department. Communication Protocols identifies primary and secondary communication tools, radios, intercoms, phones, satellite phones, establishes internal communication flow between housing units, control room, medical, and administration, details procedures for external notifications, sheriff's office, court system, family notifications as appropriate, media, and EMS, includes radio call signs, code systems, and backup methods if power fails. Evacuation and shelter-in-place procedures, site-specific evacuation routes for each housing unit and special population, designated staging areas inside and outside the facility, protocols for lockdown during certain emergencies, e.g. riot, airborne toxins, external active shooter, procedures for head counts, inmate identification, and maintaining secure custody during movement, accommodations for inmates with mobility limitations or medical needs. Resource management, food, water, medical, inventory lists for minimum 72-hour supplies of food, water, medications, PPE, and hygiene products. Assigns roles for distribution control and rationing if required. Includes contingency plans for resupply coordination with county-state resources. Establishes procedures for managing emergency medical triage and secure medication access. Transportation coordination identifies transportation resources, jail vans, buses, outside agency support. Includes priority lists for evacuating high-risk or vulnerable inmates. Establishes routing protocols and alternate destinations, MOUs with other facilities. Assigns staff to transport teams with restraint and security procedures included. Utility failure procedures, protocols for power outage, water loss, HVAC failure, sewage backups, and gas leaks. Detailed instructions for activating backup generators, fuel rationing, and emergency lighting. Procedures for safe operations without critical systems, for example, manual locking mechanisms, paper logs. Mutual aid agreements, pre-established memoranda of understanding, MOUs with local jails for inmate relocation, county and state EMA for disaster support, public health for pandemic response, fire departments for evacuation and rescue. Defines resource sharing and jurisdictional responsibilities in multi-agency response. Staff roles and responsibilities. Clear staff responsibilities are critical to avoiding delays and miscommunication during a crisis. These roles should be detailed within the EOP and reinforced through training. 1. Shift Supervisor. Watch Commander activates EOP during a qualifying incident, assumes role as Incident Commander or designates another officer, communicates with the control room administration and outside responders, assigns duties and ensures response tasks are completed in sequence. 2. Line Staff. Correctional officers execute unit-specific procedures such as evacuation, lockdown, or triage. Maintain inmate accountability and discipline during emergencies. Serve on transport teams. Search and rescue or security posts. Report status updates to the supervisor or command staff. 3. Medical staff. Identify and prioritize inmates with acute or chronic conditions. Manage triage areas, distribute emergency medications, and maintain infection control. Coordinate with EMS or hospitals for outside medical transport. 4. Classification and records personnel. Ensure accurate inmate rosters and ID documentation are available during evacuation or relocation. Maintain and protect legal documents, court orders, and health records. Support continuity of legal obligations, for example, court appearances, sentencing. 5. Maintenance. Facilities. Staff operate or assist with backup generators, water systems, and HVAC repairs. Secure downed systems or infrastructure and prevent further facility damage. Assist with barrier repairs, debris removal, and utility shutdowns. Coordination with external agencies, jail administration and command staff coordinate with Sheriff's Office command staff for countywide response oversight, Emergency Management Agency EMA for logistics and resource requests, Fire and EMS for evacuation, transport, and triage, Public Health and DEOC for infectious disease response or state-level coordination, Memorandum of Understanding MOU, MOA, contacting facilities and agencies that you have established agreements with. An effective emergency operations plan is not a generic template. It must be jail-specific, scenario-based, and tested regularly. It defines how each member of the correctional team contributes to maintaining order, security, and safety when the unexpected occurs. The more comprehensive and practiced the plan, the more resilient the facility becomes.